Hey everyone, welcome to episode 8 of the Louven Podcast. I'm here today with Dina from Gurun. Dina is currently playing in Alice Springs and has been for quite some time now. Gurun released their first album in 2020 and have been playing a few festivals around Alice Springs as well. How are you today, Dina?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm trying to cool down.
Yeah. Like always in these interviews, I like to start at the very beginning. What is one of your first musical memories?
Whoa! Alright, what was my first musical? I think it would be my auntie just playing music on her guitar.
Yeah.
Like an acoustic nylon guitar, but she does these like covers and finger styles, and a lot of them were pretty good. Now that like I can still sort of recall it, like some songs I find her version better than the originals.
Yeah.
Like, I used to do like covers of Carole King and Jim Croce and all that, and like now that I've been trying to do it, I was like, this is hard. Yeah, she was really into it. She was really into music and stuff. So,
Oh, that's cool. What inspired you to start playing music?
I just listening to music. I mean, my mom did got me into like classical guitar when I was like 10 or whatever. And that was really hard because learning music in Indonesia is hard. Learning many things really, like teachers aren't paid well enough and so on, especially back then. But yeah, it's also lots of just like when you're getting into like your pre-teen years, and then listening to more sort of like rock bands would probably inspire you more, right? Like now you're not just like listening to like really poppy songs that are sometimes even hard to transcribe into guitar as well. Like say you're listening to Boyz II Men, right? Maybe if you know that or whatever, like a boy band or a girl band, and it's like it's actually pretty hard if you want to play that on an instrument. But so once you start to get into like country or rock, and you're at the right age when you're like really easily flared up by those things, you'd be I want to play Green Day, I want to play Nirvana, something like that.
Yeah, cool. What were a few bands that stood out to you
back then?
Yeah,
like on that period, I guess. Well, it was like, now you get to know sort of my age, because like that was when like Green Day first came out.
Yeah.
First actual really came out to like the mainstream. I mean, obviously they were sort of popular in their local punk scene, but when they started appearing on TV, so that was like the Dookie era.
Oh, right. Yeah, cool.
Like Nirvana was like, so Kurt Cobain just died.
Yeah.
But like they released the Unplugged album posthumously. So that was also like one of the first sort of rock album that I heard.
Oh yeah.
And that like sort of like I want to play this sort of music, and start getting into that.
Yeah, cool. So you actually started by playing in a few punk bands and stuff like that. What is it about punk music in like specifically that stands out to you?
Well, it's fun. Really, it is fun. And there's all sorts of spectrums on punk music. I used to think that and still now to this day, I still sort of like don't like to use the word grunge, because it's sort of just punk-ish to me. It's just that part of the United States had that sort of like more bleak sort of fuzzy sort of punk, but I would still call it punk rock. But it's I don't know, I just think they look cool and they sound cool and they make you go like and, it's really fun, and like all the philosophy of just like of really nothing, really, because once you start establishing what punk is, another person would say, no, that's not what it is. And that actually like total anarchy, and it's great, it's democratic, because like no one can actually go ahead. And in a way, it's sort of like, it's sort of a bit like a gang, but in another way, it's so disorganized that it could never be a gang.
Yeah.
But it's cool like a gang.
Yeah.
But it embraces too much freedom that it could not actually be that cultish, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or the type of thing that I want to go for anyway. But,
yeah. What has it been like being in a band in Alice Springs?
As you probably know, it could get awkward.
Yeah.
Because the space is so small, and just like the people you run into are like the same people over and over again.
Yeah.
It could be sort of like, for example, you try to find a drummer. Trying to find a drummer anywhere, even in big cities, are hard.
Yeah.
And you try to find one in Alice, and it's like, yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
It's tricky. And you simply like, it's just an extension of what it's like to live in Alice and form social connections anyway. It's just like, it's, for me, it's best to not try and be in conflict with anyone, because if they're going to stay in town, you're going to keep running into them.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, though, like being a musician in Alice Springs, you feel very supported by the scene, by the like, all the art sort of organizations here are very inclusive.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
pretty amazing. It's not really a cliquish in some ways. You get like, you can get supports from, even though you're just, or like you're a rock band, you're a punk band, but you get organizations like Red Hot Art supporting you. All these anti-music, it's really, I guess being a small scene has its perks like that.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when I moved there, I was quite surprised by how like vibrant the music scene is there. Because when I was moving there, I was thinking, how the hell am I going to put a band together in Alice Springs before I moved there? But yeah, like you were saying before, trying to get a drummer anywhere is really hard, and especially in Alice, one drummer's drumming for like 3 bands, and then a bass player's in 2 or 3 bands himself, and yeah.
And that's also like the predicament of a drummer as well. I don't know if it has some sort of effects on their psychology as well. They're usually the ones that get stressed out the most.
Yeah.
Being sort of like pulled this way and another just because you can play this instrument, which is also a pain in the ass to move around, tour and play, and then you get dragged around to people with like, oh, you play for me, you play my songs, you play this song, and it's like, I feel for them.
Yeah, definitely. So you began with open mic sessions. What were they like at first for you?
In Alice Springs?
Yeah.
It was really all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gavin. For those sort of watching or listening in and is not from Alice, probably don't know who Gavin is. Like 9 or 11 years, whatever, this guy was running the open mic session at Epilogue at Alice Springs.
Yeah.
And he's also a musician himself. Obviously, he's got a really cool band called the Holy Dimes, and he's very charming. One of the things, like, he made it so easy for me to sort of like get up and try. I mean, I remember one night it was cold and raining in Alice Springs, and he was just up there, like saying, like, "Come on, people, get up here. I might as well back in Glasgow. It's cold. It's raining." Like, for fuck's sake, just anyone get up here. And you're like, okay. He was a great motivator, and he's always saying like, you should play more. Yeah,
I found Gav was very good at getting people up when I'd go there, and Yeah, he's definitely got that effect on people to just come up and join him when he's up there and stuff like that.
I mean, that's what you need. You know, sometimes you just need someone to encourage you.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to be good. In fact, the less skillful they are, the more you're like, oh, you know, if he can do that, I can do something.
Yeah.
And not skillful, but you know, he's not Slash.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does his own thing, like with his soul and everything, and it's really encouraging.
Yeah, definitely. So I read that you started with a Les Paul that was given to you. Do you still have this guitar?
I do. It's there.
Yeah.
It's an Epiphone Les Paul Special, all black.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was living with, like, in my first share house in Alice Springs. I was living with this girl who has that guitar, and then she moved away, and then she's like, Dina, you should have this, because I think you'll be able to make better use of it than me.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember where she moved back to. Anyway, and then and then I was like, I can't just leave this guitar like hanging around and not play it. So I started taking it to open mic and playing with it.
Yeah, cool.
From then, like, there's just more guitars coming into my house.
Yeah.
And more.
Which one of your guitars would you say is your main one?
Right now, if I were to go solo, like play my own show for my electric, I would say a Strat, which is actually my most recent find. I found this guitar out bush.
Yeah.
Just like waiting to be like driven over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was just like lying out there and like missing two tuners and all rusty, but I was like, it's an actual Fender Strat.
Yeah.
So I took it to like Dennis, the guitar guy in town, and then he fixed it up, and now it sounds beautiful and it feels beautiful, and Strat is very flexible, sort of flexible weapon to use, especially when you're just playing solo. And I used a lot of my Gretsch for Gurun because because I was trying to get that sort of like rockabilly surf sound.
Yeah.
And that's also a beautiful guitar.
Yeah.
But it's much easier to play.
Yeah, definitely. Do you play any other instrument?
No. I've got like some keyboard there that I'm trying to get better at, and like can play chords and stuff in there. But like that's an instrument that I would like to get better at.
Yeah, I find keys very difficult to play. I've tried a few times, but I just can't wrap my head around it really.
Well, it depends again with whether you want to play it for what purpose. If you just want to like sing over the top of it, you can just like use one hand really. You don't even have to hold it. I find, I don't know, I think I find playing keyboard sort of with both hands properly is the same as learning fingerstyle guitar, which is you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
You just play just chords.
In 2019, you started Gurun. How did it come together?
Very sporadically. I guess. Well, I started like performing more, and like I would do this thing where I would just get up almost every week at open mic night, and started sort of like socializing with other musicians, and then I had a guitarist named Ron who was playing music with me for a while, and he was sort of like, oh, I want to play music with you, Dina, cool. And then like another way started to like get up at Epilogue a couple of times, and then I had this friend Filippo who I used to hang out with a lot, and we just sort of like did things on our acoustic guitars, playing punk covers and all that.
Yeah.
And then eventually he said, actually, let's just be in a band. I started like composing originals, and he eventually bought a bass.
Yeah.
Because he is originally a bass player. He just didn't get around to buying a bass when he was in Alice, but he finally bought a bass and then became a proper player in Alice Springs.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then this person came, this person left, this person came, this person left.
Yeah.
And it just keeps changing. And the sort of the format we took when we undertook this recording as well, like it's me, Filippo, and Mischa, is also like might not be a thing this year.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I'm pretty happy that we at least stuck together long enough to like play like really fun gigs and recorded that album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even got a music video out and everything, and it's like it was great. It was good achievement, and we see where this goes from now.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about the album, you had the self-release album come out in 2020. What are a couple of standout tracks on this album for you?
The one that we made the music video for is called Kingston Surf, and it's an instrumental.
Yeah.
And well, people like that one because it's really dancey and it's really sort of like catchy, I guess.
Yeah.
And the other one would be Gentleman is another one that we made a music video for, and that's sort of it's quite influenced by like Britpop garage rock, I guess, and like 70s punk. It's also a very upbeat, catchy, fun song, I think. And the third track is not mine. It's an Indonesian folk song. It's called Bubui Bulan. It's like a West Javanese song, and we arranged it to be like a mixture of it's a mixture of like folk, traditional Indonesian folk, and surf rock.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I think that tree is pretty representative.
Yeah, that's cool. What was the writing process like?
It varies from song to song, really.
Yeah.
Like Skinks, just like I was listening to a lot of things that sounded like Skinks.
Yeah.
To a lot of things like rockabilly songs, surf songs, and all that, and started making my own songs. And always had to I had to check like 5 times, 6 times, asked around. It's like, you sure no one's used this tune before? It's just simple. Like, look, I'm just playing on D minor here. Like, hasn't anyone thought of this before? Are you sure? And then, but apparently to this stage, no one's come up and said, "Hey, you're actually playing this song by whoever." Atkins or whoever. And it's usually me just listening to a lot of other songs and then thinking that I want to make a song like that, and eventually it comes something that's a bit like that, but it's not that.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's word based. So what I mean by word based is say that how like freestyle rappers say that, oh, I've got this hook, which is actually a sentence.
Yeah.
Like say, oh, I really want to make a song which riff goes, say for example, Gentleman, the riff goes, I'd be a gentleman for you, why won't you be one for me? I was like, oh, that's I think that sounds smart. That sounds cool. And I really want to use that in the chorus of a song. And if it's a chorus, it should be like a smart ass song. It should be like a sort of like a fun garage rock song. Because if the line goes, I'd be a gentleman for you, why won't you be one for me? And you sound like Adele, now you're just sounding pathetic.
Yeah.
Or like Radiohead. It's like, no, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Be a tongue-in-cheek song.
Yeah, definitely. Who are some of your biggest influences?
A lot, really. Like if you take it way back, because they always come back. Hey,
Yeah,
even
definitely.
even like you make a song that's like really punk, and then you suddenly realize, hey, the riff. I mean, it sounds punk, but like the riff actually is like an 80s pop song I grew up with. It could be like a kind of riff, or Bon Jovi or Roxette that I haven't heard in ages.
Yeah.
With me, and then I made it punk or whatever. And so there's heaps, like from the moment I start listening to things like I don't know, Bon Jovi,
Yeah.
Green Day, Nirvana, and even like old pop songs. I guess what I can say is also like punk rock actually was a big part of my life growing up. In a way, it's freedom. In other ways, it's sort of like, I don't know whether it's my mentality or just like the fact that punk rock has this thing sometimes of like not being skillful, because being skillful is not punk.
Yeah.
Looking down on like things they label like dinosaur rock, or like things like Deep Purple or Led Zeppelin. Because there was always that rivalry between them. Not rivalry, but like punk was like, nah, that's like old stuff, that's boring.
Yeah.
So like a good part of my musical life was like not listening to things like blues and prog rock and all that. It was only until I get to Alice and I found that like people younger than me, like Simo, for example, like Simo, like actually listening to blues and has a lot to say about it. And all right, listen to this blues stuff.
Yeah.
And it's actually really, really good for me.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you, Simo. That like I listen to these things that are actually the basis of rock, really.
Yeah, and definitely.
It's not just old man music.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like a music that my uncle used to listen to. Like, they have some good stuff to say.
Yeah.
Have some sick riffs. Even though it's not like like punk rock, and it's not easy to digest, I might say.
Yeah.
Because punk rock is really easy to digest.
Yeah, I find that especially when I first started getting into it, it was just easy to just go from one band to the other with punk music. But then stuff like prog and all that, you either love it or hate it, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's catchy in its own way. That's not as like grabbing as punk is, I find.
Yeah.
But like, the more you get into it, the more you're like, yeah, that's cool, and you can make more stuff out of it. That's another thing. Whereas with punk, sometimes it's almost like a spark. Either you come up with a really catchy song that's like really good, or you just come up with like same things over and over again.
Yeah.
Whereas blues and rock, and like if you get more into like things like scales, you find that there's more avenues to making songs.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially like you're a guitarist or whatever.
Yeah. What inspires you lyrically?
Lots of stuff, really. Movies is one thing. Like, I like watching like the pace of a movie. Like, I'd say maybe the pace of a Tarantino movie is the pace that I'd like my lyrics to be at.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like it to be like, so it could be a bit enigmatic.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, oh, what the hell is she talking about? But overall, it's not that mysterious,
Yeah.
Poetry, is a big thing, and
Yeah.
it's cool, and lots of songs are great poetry. I listen to a lot of Tom Waits. I think he writes nice lyrics.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and if you listen to Tom Waits, you might as well listen to Dylan.
Yeah.
I don't like Dylan's voice, but but his lyrics are great, and things like that. Just but not total. A lot of my songs aren't total nonsense either. I'm not going to write something like "I'm the Walrus" or "The Octopus Garden" or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm not that blazed yet. So yeah, and a lot of them, like, people have been labeling my songs are just like, yeah, you're just honest, and not afraid to be corny. Really, a lot of my songs can be corny, can be about a relationship that wasn't working out, la la la. Yeah, sad.
I guess it's a way that people can relate to easily as well, that sort of thing.
I mean, hopefully they can relate to it. If not, I mean, that's fine, because a lot of people find me quite naive. So, yeah, they find me quite naive, and it's like, get over it, Dina, or whatever. And if that's the level they're at, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I am really very soppy and very emotional, so that's cool. If you're not that way, that's fine. But
Yeah.
my songs are not made for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that, like, most artworks and songs that are most like, they're just things that needs to come out.
Yeah, definitely.
That yeah, the Charles Bukowski said, "Don't try."
Yeah.
Like, if you try, it means that you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
It should be something that if you don't do it, you're gonna be in big trouble.
All right. Yeah, that's cool.
If you don't play music, you might get physically sick. You might get emotionally sick, and
Yeah.
that's you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, he's an extreme, but yeah.
Yeah.
I find that it's a good quote.
Yeah, definitely. I really like that. Has Gurun been able to play much, especially the past year, because of the pandemic and all that?
Yes,
Yeah.
because we live in Alice Springs. For a lot of the time last year and 2020, like, things just kept on going.
Yeah.
We had our album launch. We played in Desert Festival, and those were all, um, pretty packed.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that was when we sort of, like, did the hard lockdowns.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, when like, you come here and then you quarantine, you spend $2,000 for a hotel quarantine and all that, and obviously a lot of people were deterred by that. So, in a way, Alice Springs became a bit insular.
Yeah.
But it is a big enough a town that, like, even while being insular, you could get, like, heaps of crowd coming to gigs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good that you were able to keep going.
Mm.
What does the future look like for Gurun at the moment?
It's pretty unsure. I've already got, like, a few songs that is for Gurun, I must say. It's like, this is a Gurun song, while, like, some other songs I was like, this is probably a collaboration with someone else. What I should do is probably, like, give it a few weeks or months rest, and then sort of, like, communicate, because like, the bass Filippo is just, like, gone on a road trip to Tassie, and
Right.
I don't know what his plans are, but like, catch everyone else at a good time, because honestly, like, it's been intense.
Yeah.
It's been pretty intense, and, like, the three of us even lived together at one point.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of time spent together.
Yeah.
In at a time where, like, all three of us were going through respective whatever things like family or personal stuff, plus the pandemic going on. But we sort of soldiered on through recording, through to gigs, and through just practicing and it's been a good break. And it may go on for like another month or two, and then we reconvene. But I would like to keep on playing.
Definitely.
And it would be good in whatever format, I think, preferably with me in it.
Yeah.
I write. I write the song, so.
Oh yeah.
I could still be in the band, I guess.
Yeah. With these interviews, I like to finish with the same question as well. If you had to show 3 albums to someone that had never listened to music before, what would those 3 albums be?
Oh, wouldn't you want to give them something really easy to begin with?
Yeah.
Like you give them a really poppy one to begin with. I would probably give them number 1 would be a Beatles album.
Yeah.
And it would probably be Rubber Soul.
Oh, right. Yeah, cool.
And the second one, I would probably give them an album by The Clash, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe The Clash, London Calling.
Yeah.
And the third, I should put a female voice into this, but I don't know whom. Do you have any female bands that you like? Female art?
Yeah, there's heaps really. First one I thought of, just because we've been talking about punk and all that, is L7.
Oh yeah, L7's cool, yeah. But I don't know, if someone's never heard music before.
Yeah.
it might be full on. Maybe I would give them something like a Nina Simone album.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Nina Simone Plays the Blues or something like that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And also like to balance things out, because she's also like she's almost a virtuoso pianist, really.
Yeah.
So like the other 2 bands to music are really sort of guitar heavy.
Yeah.
But Nina Simone is like an amazing piano player. So,
yeah,
yeah,
sure.
there you go. Balance it out.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on and talking about Gurun and all of your music. And anyone that's watching, if you enjoy the music, all of the links will be down below to Dina's music. And yeah, hopefully I can have you on again sometime.
Oh, thanks, Rudy.
That's all right.
I'll see you if you feel like coming up to Alice one of these days, maybe in the cooler months.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and maybe catch up if I'm going down south sometime.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Thanks for that.
That's all right.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.